when you're setting a goal for a measure, right, you need to know obvious things like how have I performed in the past? What are the cut points historically done? What do we think they're going to do this year? Like all of that obvious stuff. Where's the significant improvement threshold? So let's take breast cancer screening, right?
Mhm.
If I'm at whatever 72% last year, and I'm setting my goal for this year, and I think I need to get to 78%. Is that realistic? Like, is it possible for me to do enough things to get to 78%? And one of the things that I know your tool helps plans see is, I think it's the top 30% of plans in the nation, right? That moved on this measure. How much did they move on average? And then there's one that shows you plans that are in your actual performance range. How much did they move, right?
So the way to do it, and then I'll bounce down to tell you exactly what the thing tells you, and then you can continue. So what it does is essentially it's to guard against, sometimes you'll get guidance that says every plan, every measure has to have a goal of 4 or 5 stars. And there's a risk to that, because if let's say we're at your example, and we took this from a 72 to a 90, I'm making up numbers, right? But now you're counting on this 5-star. In reality, that's not going to happen. And so you're counting on this to achieve your objective. Well, when that inevitably fails throughout the year, you're just automatically behind. It's better to understand that you have this limitation, and if you need to, what other measure might you have opportunity, or how do we go after it? But what the tool that Rex is talking about, what it does is, if I'm at a 72 in breast cancer screening, it's going to look across the industry and look at every plan that scored between like a 70 and a 74 in that, because you want to understand the movement that's possible in that specific performance range. If I got a 60, I've got a lot more upside opportunity than I got an 80. So this allows you to kind of look at this here, and then it tells you, in this tight performance range on this measure, if I can move as much as the average improving plan here, here's where we would set it. Or if I'm going to place focus, we can move as much as the top 30%, then it could take you all the way up here. So sorry, but that's what it shows.
So thanks for clarifying that. And so in my mind, in my experience, right, you don't need a million different data sources and to be overwhelmed with with a spreadsheet of 700 numbers on it, right? When you walk into a goal setting meeting, you need to know, like, for the last few years, how have you performed on this measure, rate wise, star wise, right? How have the cut points moved, but also in the projected cut points, obviously going forward, but things like that, right? So things like something to help me understand what's realistic from a quantitative standpoint. Then you need the discussion with the measure owner and the understanding, like Jessica was talking about earlier, right? Who are we as an organization? Like, that's all the subjective stuff that you need in the conversation. You need the right people in the room, the measure owner who does this every day, and the STARS team, with those kinds of things in their head to understand what's the human aspect of correcting this target that the math says we need to hit, right? And then obviously just understanding how each of these measure targets plays into my overall star ratings goal, how they impact my improvement measures, how they maybe impact HEI, right? It's et cetera. So